Hey, I'm Coach C. Collins.
Coach MJ.
And welcome to About That Life podcast, where we talk about basketball life and everything in between. Thank you guys again for those who are consistently listening, for those who are supporting. We appreciate it as always. Go ahead, if you're watching it on YouTube, hit that like button, smash it for us, please. Destroy it, right? Go ahead, hit the subscribe, hit that follow. If you're listening to us on audio, whether it be Spotify, iTunes, or wherever podcasts are at, please go ahead and hit that follow. It supports us big time. One small click for you is a big help for us, so we very much appreciate it. So today, what's today? It is December 10th. Right?
Yep.
Or January. Sorry, I don't know what I think. December. I'm
2021.
I guess I still feel like we're in 2020 because of all this shit happening, and we're definitely gonna talk about that crazy stuff going on too. Mm-hmm. But first, before we get this, let's talk. Well, it was funny. I was talking to Tet, and we'll get to our guests very, very shortly. But we basically ended up calling, since we're about to interview every single coach from Jessup, from the women's side anyway. We're going to call January Jessup month, right? So, because that's pretty much what we're about to do. So, with that being said, we have another assistant coach from the women's side from William Jessup. I will get to all her accolades because she has a good amount of them. And me and her have known each other quite a while too. And I would like to call you a friend. I would think we're pretty cool.
For sure.
So, no, we're going to talk a lot of good basketball and things like that. Just so again, let me say your name so they know who you are, who's listening. Megan, how you say your last name? I didn't even think
Kritscher.
Kritscher?
Yeah.
Okay, Megan Kritscher. Thank you for being on the show.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. First, let's get to your accolades. Let's get all that out the window because she's got quite a few of them.
Hooper.
She is a hooper. So let's get that clear. She counts as our first professional woman hooper, right? So because we had DT as our male professional hooper. So you're our first. So you hit a milestone for us. Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, so let's start off and give you guys her itinerary so you know her background, and then we'll go from there. So. Went to high school, Woodland Christian, right, through your sophomore year. I went to Pioneer High School junior and senior year, right, graduated in 2008. One notable accolade, which is pretty cool. It's funny because DT basically had the same style of accolade. Now I'm looking at it and thinking about it. Her high school career, she had 645 blocks.
Hey,
remember, and DT, if you look at that episode, that's what helped him stand out. Because didn't he have like 9 blocks in one game or some crazy stuff like that?
I think like 14.
Yeah, he had like 14.
In one game.
Yeah, so
I
that's
think
funny.
that was my highest too, actually.
That's crazy. That's funny. No, that's cool. That is actually really a funny, strange coincidence.
That's funny.
Blocks.
And now it's senior season, league MVP, and nominated for a McDonald's All-American.
Hey,
very cool.
Okay.
Very cool. Her AAU program is Sac Sting for 2 years and finished with NorCal Elite. Okay, and we'll obviously talk more about your AAU experience and stuff like that because that's mainly obviously what our show is geared towards. So more progressed from high school, went to college, went to UC Santa Barbara, said redshirted freshman year because of knee surgery. What'd you do to your knee?
It wasn't ACL or anything cool like that. It was much less than that, so I was lucky.
Okay, well that's good.
So my kneecap was crooked. They had to go in, like my IT band isn't connected to my kneecap.
Okay.
Long story short.
How many months? How many months?
It actually was like a 6-week recovery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
It took time to really get back into it, but it wasn't as bad. So that was good.
And then from there, Sac State, right?
Yep.
And then, broke the school conference record for blocks in a season.
Yeah.
111.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
my thing was blocking.
Yeah, that's how I'm saying. It's literally DT was like the same thing. That's why it's hella funny. Yeah. And then finished third in the nation for block shots.
Wow.
Very cool.
Brittany Griner was playing at that time too. So
nice.
She was number 1 during that time?
I think she was probably
wow.
That's
okay.
Nice. You're in a very elite category,
yes,
so there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So then we progressed to your pro career, and I'll skim through it, right? As we can. We'll get more into it. It says Poland, right? Poland first, and then top league out there. what's this? Germany, Hanover, Germany. Yep. Second league out there.
Yep.
Let's see. What's this? Italy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Parma.
Mm-hmm.
Parma, Italy. Top league. Nice. And then let's see. Czech Republic.
Yeah.
All right. Turkey.
Yeah.
Wow. And Melbourne, Australia. And I've been to Australia, so I definitely want to talk about that one too.
Love it. Love Australia.
Except the bugs and snakes and shit.
They got the big old bugs up there.
But, no, great place, absolutely. But you know, again, that's her accolades, and obviously we'll get more into that. But you know, welcome to the show, and
thank you.
You know, let's pick your brain about some basketball.
Yes. So many questions.
Yeah, 'cause that's what me and Mark try to do. We just want to get an understanding.
I'm here for it.
First, tell me about your AAU journey, your experiences, you know, the process. I mean, again, I put your itinerary out there. You fill in the gaps, right? But let's talk about the process from AAU, your experience of that, high school, college to pro. You know, how did you evolve at every level? And honestly, how did you adapt to the game? Because obviously when you end with the pro level, right, you know as well as I do, and we talk about all the time, how you know, bigs have to become multi-positional, right? And for those who are listening and who don't see you, how tall are you? So they know.
I'm 6'4".
Okay, so that's what you guys understand. She's a post, right? She's a big. So, but obviously, and I've seen you play when you're back in town, and you know we've played and pick up and stuff at courtside and stuff. You can do a hell of a lot more than just typical big shit. So you know what I mean. Maybe talk about that evolution too. But going ahead.
Yeah. So when I was AAU age, AAU was just really like starting to get going. Like it was really like I probably started in like 04, 05. So that was really when my older sister was all high school. That's where the colleges came to see you. But now like so AAU was just starting to get going then and going. So starting at Sac Sting, they were great for me. I'm from Woodland, so small town, you know, I had to drive out to Sacramento to really find anything. So so starting there, they helped me a ton. I love Sac Sting. They the coaches there, they were great. And then was there for a couple years, decided to just make the move. NorCal Elite then was they had like Vicky Baugh, they had Q and Coco Davis, who they went San Diego State.
Yeah, I know that
Vicky
name.
Baugh went to Tennessee. They had some good players, and so you know.
NorCal, what was NorCal Elite? Okay.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think they're even around anymore. I think they kind of like disbanded.
But you know that's how AAU go. I mean,
that's how everything's changing. I came back from overseas. I had no idea who was what. So, but yeah, really like I was kind of pigeonholed. I'm 6 foot in sixth grade, so you know everybody was like, "You're a post, stay inside, don't do anything but that." So, it really like I really evolved more like college. Getting into my freshman year, having that knee surgery, not playing, I credit that year to getting my shot. So all I could do was like form shooting. I did that every day during practice.
The boring stuff, right?
The boring stuff, but I love it. So I got a great shot then. Then I mean, and I still play. I played the 5 the whole time through college. Playing at Sac State, we were a run up and down team, so I was able to do a little bit more there. My coach tried to get me to shoot the 3. I was not ready for that at that point apparently. So, you know, but playing inside, playing a little bit short corner, high post, I loved that.
Nice.
That mid range was my favorite.
Hey.
So.
Did you have to be like because again, like you said, you're playing an up and down game fast, right? I mean, did you have to really work to become like a mobile big, basically, you know, a big that can really get up and down?
Definitely. Yeah. I had to get in shape for that. We were like a track team, but you know, I was never like I was never super fast, but I was never like really slow. So that helped a lot. And I know my coach saw that. She was like, you can at least get up and down the court. You know, some 6'4" girls, you're like, can't play in this system. So she called me her experiment. So.
Well, that's good.
And I think it worked out.
Yeah,
so.
clearly it did.
Yeah, it was good. So I love playing that system. Santa Barbara was a very like structured system coming from like plays every time down the court to controlled chaos. She called it. So she's now the Jamie Craighead. She's now the coach at San Jose State. So,
nice.
Yeah, she's awesome. So and then really didn't start stepping out and like working on my real ball handling, like shooting the three until after college. Really, I mean, we worked on it, but I never really like put it into action in games until I was overseas and stuff.
And then so when you transitioned to that pro level, was it kind of basically you had to do it on your own, or did you kind of have people kind of help you, mentor you along the way? I mean, I know Ted for sure was.
Yeah. So really, right out of college was Lunina Noah. She does YBA now. I know a little bit too. She helped me a lot.
Yeah, shout out to Noah. Great
shout out to Noah. She's awesome. Her and Ruthie helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Ruthie Bolton, you know, I think everybody knows who that is. Just have to say
like
Ruthie.
8-time Olympian. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we played some like 3-on-3 tournaments down in LA, and it was awesome playing with her and both of them. So they helped me a lot with that, the shooting, the ball handling. That's Noah's thing, is ball handling. So they helped me a lot with that. And really the shooting. I mean, I've always loved shooting. I think I just needed to get the confidence for it.
Right.
Stepping out of my comfort zone in the post. So ended up really, most of the teams still overseas put me just in the post. I tried to step out and shoot when I could, but I have one coach in Australia. He actually let me like put in stuff so I could shoot, and I shot like I think like 42% that year.
Damn.
So you know, I was like, okay, I can shoot, but so definitely evolved as a player from high school to overseas, and it was fun crazy. Like being able to see that. So
and then it's speaking just on that, and I think you can appreciate this as a trainer too. In my opinion, it's much it is difficult to basically teach a post, you know, to acclimate guard skills, but it is easier to kind of teach a guard, you know, big, you know what I mean? Not to say either job is more than the other, but it's like if I wanted to teach LeBron how to post up or Kevin Durant how to post up, it's much easier to teach them that than to take like Hassan Whiteside and say, all right, I'm going to shoot some, go Bert. Okay, I want you to start working on your step back cross. Like, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to that is for what you were able to pull off, that's not like a rare or not an easy thing. Excuse me. That's actually very, very incredible. So I definitely wanted to speak, give you props about that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No, I was talking to Ted last episode, obviously, and shout out to Ted because he'll kill me if I don't.
Shout out to Ted too, because he got me right too. He trained me for a few years too. So.
Nice. And you know, talking with his conversations, especially about women's basketball, and I think this is pretty relevant to you because I always want to get women's basketball or women's perspective on this, right? I'm just assuming this has happened through your course of it. Girls quitting, you know what I mean? Like just wake up one day and quit. And again, I don't coach women's basketball, but I see it myself from the outside, and I don't see that much with boys. They might quit once they realize, you know, either I'm better at another sport or I'm not gonna go very far in this. But it takes a lot to get a boy to quit. You know what I mean? But I've seen with some girls, you know, they just have one bad game and they're just like, I'm done forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just kind of curious about your thoughts about that, and kind of, at least for you and your experience, what kept you going? You know, what made you say, I ain't quitting this shit. Like, I'm gonna do this. You know?
What's your why?
Yeah. So I think now, like touching on girls quitting, I think a lot of them, it's a social thing for them. for girls, it's like, I want to go play with my friends. I want to have fun. Like, some of them are doing it not to go to the WNBA. They're doing it because their friend told them they're going, so they wanted to go. I think girls are perfectionists, like, a little bit more than guys, and we run into that with the college level. Like, the girls I play, they want to do everything exactly right, how you say it, and we're trying to get them out of that mindset. But it's hard. I was the same way. I was like...
That's a great perspective. I've never thought about that. But you actually brought us on. I know, that's really cool. I've never... You're right. That is very more traditional when it comes to women.
Yeah, and you see, like, the open gyms, like, even adults, like, it's all guys. They're all playing, and I would even come to, like, courtside and stuff, and I was the only girl, maybe one of 2 or 3. But it's... girls kind of move on, and even this year with everybody getting a year back, we're not sure how many girls are gonna even want to stay, because they tend to be ready for the next thing and like move on with their life, whereas guys are like, I just want to hoop. Like, I don't care how
if
long.
I knew I had a free basketball
season,
shit, I'll be a 6-year senior. I don't care. Damn.
Right. So that's a big thing. Yeah, I think that's the biggest part of it. For me, I think I just loved playing. It was hard, don't get me wrong. Like, there were times where I hated it and wanted to quit, but I think for me, I loved it, and I loved the grind, and it was something I grew up doing since I've been like 5 years old. So
I heard you say that you have siblings.
I do.
So like, when did it start? Like, did your mom or dad put the ball in your crib? Did your sister play basketball? You wanted to be like her? Like, where did it all start for you?
Yeah, so I have 2 older sisters and a younger brother. So, and we were very much, like, we were talking about Woodland, small town, like, we all played sports. Nice. We all, like, kind of, everybody knew us as the, like, sports family out there,
Nothing wrong with that.
So we all played basketball and volleyball and soccer growing up. I stopped soccer in high school because I was like, I'm 6'4", so it's just not in the cards for me. So, but so just growing up, like, seeing it was kind of a natural thing, just going into it. And I love volleyball too. That was like my second love. And it was a close one. I had to figure out which I wanted. It was always basketball, but I loved volleyball too. So but it was just kind of a natural thing. And then the height, that always helped.
The chosen one. The chosen one.
Yeah.
So quick question, out of the places you played, what's your favorite place?
My favorite location was Italy.
Nice.
The food out there is not overrated. It was incredible. Yeah, and the country itself is awesome. Yeah, definitely my favorite place.
Cool. So now let's transition to, you are now a coach.
I am, yes.
And I think we talked a little bit about that, about you becoming a coach and stuff like that, and going down this route, because that, I've obviously been doing it a while, so this is your first or second year at Jessup?
Second year at Jessup.
Second year at Jessup. So now you're basically officially a second year coach.
I am. Yeah.
How has that been? I mean, mentoring young women, right? You obviously have a great perspective that they can lean on. How has that been?
It's been good. So I love it. I think I was ready for the change. When I finished playing, I was mentally done with it. I was like, I'm good. I went as far. I didn't want to stop early because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't like leaving and, what if, should I go back?
Right.
Yeah. No, like, you can ask Tab, you can ask people there, they'd be like, you want to go back? And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm done. I'm retired. Shoes are up. So, because I still wanted to play for fun and like enjoy it. So, I forgot the question now.
No, I'm saying how has it been mentoring the girls?
Okay, so it's been great. It's been really fun. I've been able to really take like the good and bad that I went through, and figuring out like how to do that like how to help the girls and really teach them. And I had some coaches that would be like, no, like don't do that, but never telling me like how to fix it or what to do. And that's a big thing for me, is really like giving them ways to be better and do better and everything. And I think that like that goes to stuff in life too. Like you can't.
Very cool.
Yeah, you gotta figure stuff out. You can't just say, oh, that's not right, and then it's done.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So.
Well, and I think you give them a great perspective. You give them that's what's actually pretty cool, I guess, about your staff overall, right? Because think about it. Mm-hmm. You guys are a smaller school, right? Overall, in the grand scheme of things. Definitely. But you have a head coach who's an ex-D1 coach at Duke of all places, right? Like an D1 coach, you know what I mean? You have an ex-pro center and who's the assistant coach, and Ted, who was a very high-level NAI player as well, but also just a very good coach and mentor as well. And for a small market school to have that kind of coaching staff is crazy. Unreal. That's unheard of. You know what I mean? You definitely don't see that. Not at the NAI level. That's just not typical. So
it's exciting for the future.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So I think you guys are going to do really well.
Yeah, I love it. We all work really well together. We complement each other in more ways than that too. Like it's crazy. It's really fun working with them.
No, go ahead. No, I was thinking of something funny. I was kind of like, we're talking some shit.
Okay.
I was saying, imagine going to their game, right? And then y'all saw this video. And this dude was laughing at an NBA game where the coach stood up and he was short as shit because the rest of them. So it's like, no, like imagine, like she's way taller than Ted and the head coach too. Yeah. You imagine them all standing up and they like, and then they see them. I'm just picturing that in my head. That's fucked up, but that's what I'm seeing in my head. But go ahead, ask your question.
And I'm not afraid to wear heels either. So it's a couple extra inches there. Like,
oh man, I'm sorry. That was just hella funny.
That's
to me.
funny. That's pretty funny.
Shots fired. I'm sorry. I just had to throw that out there. But go ahead, Mark. Ask your question.
Man, you made me forget. So I was gonna ask. So yeah, like you just said, like from you playing professionally, you're just saying like, because I'm kind of similar to where which I wanted to go back and ask with the politics of playing overseas, and like you said, it was kind of draining you, and you know what I'm saying, and then for you to make this switch to now that you're coaching, would you say, because to me, I felt, and it took me a while too. It took me a while. I had to fall in love and be like, all right, let's leave San Diego and move to Dixon to really. But for you, right? Like, would you say that it's easy? Like, I don't know. For me, I feel like when I finally made the decision, I'm done playing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm a do this training thing and really just be a mentor. And because like I said, I felt like before I was still kind of selfish for myself, because like I still want to hope. I still want to put in hours for myself, where now being a mentor and helping out these other kids, the hours that I used to do for myself, I have to give it to them. Would you feel like it's an easy transition? Like, do you feel like I'm right at home? Like, this is like, do you feel that way when doing the coaching thing, or is it still, you're still learning a lot, I'm assuming?
So the transition for me was when I stopped playing, and it was that like time in between like playing and coaching, because then I wasn't actually sure if I wanted to coach right after I was done playing. I always said, I coached high school when I was in between seasons and stuff, and it was just like assistant. It wasn't anything serious. But I really, if I was going to make a career out of it, I wanted to do college.
Nice.
So it really was that time in between that was tough. And I was like, who am I? Like, what am I doing? And I know everybody talks about it, but it's real. Like that was my whole identity was basketball. And so it was like, I go from this like glamorous lifestyle that everybody thinks and to working at a grocery store. And I was like, there were times where I was having anxiety, like trying to figure it out. But then I think talking to one of my friends, I went out, my friend in South Carolina, and he coached D1. He's a trainer. And he was like, try it for a year. If you hate it, then you don't have to do it anymore. And I was like, I knew that, but sometimes you gotta have somebody
you need that
say it to you.
Absolutely.
So I was like, okay. And then it was like July, and I was like, I don't even know if I can get a job at this point. But then, Ted.
Right.
And he had hit me up about the job like in May or something. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And I had worked out with them a little bit when I was home in between seasons. And so I knew Kurt, the head coach, a little bit. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to apply. I'm going to hit him up, like see if this works out. And like, I think a week later I had the job. So it was just like God's timing on that.
Yeah,
it was crazy. So
is there anything you reflect on that maybe you thought like, maybe I should have done this different or done that different, or you feel pretty like, you know what, everything was okay? I think I needed that break. Okay. I think it all worked out perfully, honestly. Nice. I'm at home. I'm around family. I missed that for 5 years. I was in and out. And 3 of my nephews and niece were born at that time. So I missed a lot of their life leading up to that. So it's been nice being home and being able to be around them, and that's been huge. So not to say I want to stay or will stay in SAC forever. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but it's been really nice right now. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go into the WNBA a little bit because again, if I have a woman on the show, I really want your guys' perspective.
For sure.
For one, did you ever have any thoughts of like trying out for the WNBA or going? I mean, in your career, did that ever happen for you?
It definitely crossed my mind a few times, but it was never something that I was like, I have to get to the WNBA. It wasn't. I wanted to play basketball to enjoy it and travel the world really after college. It wasn't, I was like, it'd be awesome if it happens, but I'm the kind of person, I'm like, if it happens, it happens. I'm not putting all my eggs in this basket. Like, I'm not going to do that. And so I really was, if it happened, I was good. If not, I was like, it was a business. And I was just like, I just wanted to enjoy it.
And I'm glad you said that because, again, that's what I think a lot of our parents and kids that listen to this need to understand. Because, again, I'm, as much as I coach, as much as I coach too, I'm not going to tell a kid you can't go D1, you can't go. I'm not going to tell them that, but they need to understand this is a business once you hit those levels. It's not just about if you're good enough or if you're talented enough. It is moves. It's if people like you, if they don't like you, if a coach feels a certain way, if the club has enough finances to finance you. I mean, they don't understand those parts of things. So I'm glad you kind of mentioned that.
Definitely.
So kind of staying on that topic of having in your head like, okay, maybe I would try to go WNBA or not. Now that you're a coach, what would you say? For me, like I said, I'm a trainer, so like I'm starting to start work with more girls.
Yeah.
Like I said, my mindset is, especially with all the guys that I work with, my mindset is trying to get to the top. If I'm training you, that's what we gonna do, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
But now that I'm working with girls, which I'm, all my girls, all my GGT girls need to listen to this. Listen to her.
Listen up.
Now that you're a coach, and also playing at a high level, for a girl, what does it take to not only play Division I basketball, but also play pro? Whether that's overseas or, for a woman, for a girl, a high school girl listening right now, the girls that I work with, whether they're 5'11", 6'2", or whether they're 5'2", 5'4".
Right.
I know you're a big, but you've also played with wings and guards. For a girl, what is it now if they're young? What I'm saying? Like I said, I'm trying to pick your brain.
For sure.
What does it take for them to get there? What do they have to do mentally, skill wise? Is it the hours they put in? Is it mental toughness? Like, what is it?
I think it's a little bit of everything, but I would say finding your niche, especially for the 5'2", 5'4", like everybody, I'm 5'2", I'm not going to make it D1. I had Fantasia Hilliard and Allie Moreno, who both played with me at Sac State, and I had a couple on UC Santa Barbara who weren't super tall. You don't have to be tall, but Allie could shoot the crap out of the ball, and Tay could shoot, and she was quick, and could pass. And so if you find what you're good at, work on that. I feel like a lot of girls think I have to be able to do everything. And like, yes, you should work on everything, but like really hone in on those like those talents that you have and you're just naturally good at, because that's gonna make you stand out and that's gonna get you farther.
As our shot blocker says right
Yeah,
here.
Right. Volleyball actually helped a lot with that on timing and everything.
Yeah, okay.
Like other sports help too. Like soccer, I think I give soccer credit for my like coordination because you know, going 6'4", using that stuff like, and not just killing yourself in one sport hours and hours. Volleyball, I loved it because it was my time away from basketball. And now I think a lot of kids think like I have to go hours and hours like all year round, and you get burnt out. And like, yes, you have to work hard. Yes, I put hours in, especially overseas. Me and Tab worked out a lot together. We'd do 3 workouts a day, getting up at 5, 6 a.m. and going to courtside at 10 o'clock at night till midnight. So, like, it's just, I mean, you got to find that sweet spot. But I was also overseas. That's all I was doing. I wasn't going to class or going to school or anything. So you gotta find that sweet spot for you. And if you do love doing it all the time, go ahead. If not, like, find that middle ground and to stay happy with it and enjoy it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I mean,
nice.
Well then, just talking about the NBA a little bit more before we move on to the next thing. You know, obviously there's this wage gap, right? And I know, I more or less want your opinion because you're a woman who played at a very high level and you can empathize with it as a peer in the sport. You know, do you kind of look at the WNBA and think like, man, there's just a few things they can adjust and maybe get some more money, or do they just like flat out like, nah, people got to figure out a way to get them more money? I mean, what is your overall take on it? I'm just curious of your opinion.
I mean, I think a little bit of both, but it's like they got to find a market that will really like cater to them. Like they're kind of not all over the place, but you know, they got to like direct it towards like a certain market, and I don't know exactly what that is. Like whatever they have right now,
it's not working.
Really, like, it's not. I mean, and like, the NBA is great because I mean they're athletic, but girls' game is changing and it is getting better. They are getting more views now, but even like during this COVID, like they can use this to their advantage too. Like getting more people watching and making it a little more entertaining, I guess. But that doesn't mean like dunking, all that. Like the girls' game is great. Like they are so good and talented, and I think the girls, I think it's really honing in on a certain market and figuring that out for them. And but I agree, like the wage gap it's ridiculous. But I also understand it to one point, like not as many people watch and support it, which is really sad. But hopefully it turns around soon.
Because I have a vested interest in that myself because I have a daughter. And
definitely.
I hope she plays basketball one day because her mother's 6'1".
Right.
So you know, I have a vested interest. You know, there's no and I watch it myself. But again, I feel like we're all basketball purists. For you people who are watching or listening, like even Ty, my camera guy, right? We are all basketball purists. We love the game. We're here obviously talking about the game. So we can enjoy watching it. But obviously we're trying to find, like you said, that niche for the casual person, right? So like if I sit somebody down and I'm like, hey, watch this, and I don't want them to be like, oh, this is fucking terrible. I want, you know what I mean? That has to be the question that gets answered. But you know, like I said, I just wanted your perspective. Last thing before we move on to everything else, what's your future goals? You know, what's 5 years from now, you know, what would you like to do? And also, after you answer that, and I'm going to probably talk about this more, but the head coach from Jessup, your boss, was Hernando, right? He's going to be here next week on the show, which is great. So I said Jessup January. No, I just you know, what's your plan, and then how has it been working with him?
Yeah.
That's basically
Yeah. I mean, so my plan right now is to stay at Jessup.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm there. I'm loving it. Like I said before, I don't like plan everything year by year or 5 years, but I'm happy there right now. And you know, whatever happens, I'm gonna say I love coaching, and I'm planning on staying coaching for a while. So that for the foreseeable future. So whatever, like, I mean, I'm open to opportunities, but I also am very happy where I'm at right now.
Very cool.
Love working with Hernando and Ted, and I think we all work really well together, and we can really build this program and get it to a place where they've never been before, and try to get to a national level like consistently. So that's really where I'm at right now. Yeah.
How is he as a coach? And you know, because Ted talked about it his episode. You know, he's saying, you know, the drills. I mean, you know, he is a D1 coach. He says he carries himself like that, and I've actually gotten because we started talking after Test Show. We were and he has his own podcast, right? Nice. He even wrote a book recently, right? And so I listened to his podcast a little bit because I'm trying to you know, learn this man's mind and his thinking and thought process. And he seems like a real high energy guy. You know what I mean? He seems like a really high energy, you know, super positive guy. So I'm actually pretty curious when he's on the show how he's gonna be.
It'll be fun.
But I was just curious your outlook on it and things like that.
Yeah, no, he's got his. He's in everything. He's coaches in New Zealand. He, you know, is at Duke, does speaking. He does his leadership conference. Yeah, he does a ton, but he is trying to make it like a D1 program. Nice. Like run it like a D1 program. Obviously, you don't have the resources. You don't have everything like that, but on the court, it's the same thing. Like, and we all, I feel like, have that mentality too, that we're doing things differently than I did at D1, and we're pushing them, but we keep those expectations high. Yeah, and that's what he does, and we bring the energy too, which helps like keep the girls energetic. And when we're more energetic than the girls, then it's like, okay, you guys got to raise your level. But he's great with that, and he's great with. We've been adapting a lot of things like towards the girls. You know, you come in with like, we're gonna do this, and this, and you gotta adapt sometimes. And we've changed some things in practice, just from the break. We had like a 2-week break, and it's been awesome. We've been breaking up into groups and doing breakdown stuff, which has been great for them. So very cool. He's great. Nice.
And obviously we'll get to know him more when he's on the show next week. So switching gears, let's talk the NBA, right? Let's talk a little bit about the NBA. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, because I keep seeing more and more of this person. I'll you know, feel free to jump in, or I'll update you on all the stuff. I want to talk about Larsa Pippen.
Who's that?
It's okay. That's Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
Oh, okay.
And she is wilding the fuck out, bro.
Why?
I'm sorry. I was seeing so much stuff about her. I was like, holy shit. She is wilding. Really? Okay, so you know Malik Beasley, right? He plays for Ty, help me out here. Was it Utah? No, I can't. Malik Beasley. But either way, I'm going to get more into this dude.
College guy?
No, he's an NBA pro. Nuggets. There you go. He plays on the Nuggets. Nuggets, right? So after Nate Robinson got his ass whooped by Jake Paul, this video came out about him getting his ass whooped by an NFL player over his Instagram girl. So his Instagram girl, he got pregnant. Damn. While she was pregnant, photos of him came out with Larsa Pippen.
What the hell? Damn.
And remember, Larsa Pippen left Scottie Pippen and was fucking on Future.
What?
Yeah, this is how crazy the story is. She's fucking on Future. She got famous from Basketball Wives.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. Which is funny because Basketball Wives, most of them aren't even wives, but still. They're the side piece, basketball side piece, right? So, and then, so she, they got caught taking pictures together and stuff. They were just walking down the street while his Instagram girl is pregnant with his kid. Right, you know, pulled a whole Tristan Thompson. He's in pictures with Larsa Pippen. Larsa Pippen is now allegedly, and again, say this allegedly because I think this is total bullshit and speculation or whatever. They're saying LeBron James Jr. is now shooting his shot with this woman. And now they're calling her a pedophile. But at the and Scottie Pippen Jr. basically posted on his Twitter like, okay, mama, like I'm focused on hoop, fuck my mama, like, you know, that's basically I'm just, I guess my talking about this is like, how do you react to this when an NBA wife, NBA royalty, because there are those women who are NBA royalty, like Kobe Bryant's wife, Vanessa Bryant, clearly NBA royalty, and her mom is trying to fucking sue her for money, which is
really
her mom is trying to sue her for money. Yeah, it's all kind of wild shit going on.
She hasn't been through enough.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, how pretty heartless are you, lady? But you know, there's a spot in hell waiting for you. So I mean, but like, yeah, Larsa Pippen is wilding the fuck out. I was just curious what you guys might think about that.
Well, that's the first time I heard about that. But
sounds crazy, right?
No, that's really crazy. That sounds scandalous.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to say 45, 40, and she looks good. Don't get me wrong. The woman is hot for
Is that the mother of Pippen's kids?
They have 4 kids together.
Oh, wow. Okay. Damn.
Yeah. And Scottie Pippen Jr. is pretty famous because he's a fucking baller. That boy
Vanderbilt,
is,
right?
Yeah, he's balling. And she's public with this shit. She's not like hide. I mean, her and Malik Beasley on the street walking together. And Malik Beasley is like 23, 24. I don't.
Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
With Scottie Pippen's ex-wife walking around. I said, bro, the NBA is crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's messy.
Yeah, right. But moving on from the scandalous shit, let's talk about my Warriors.
Hey.
Steph Curry. Okay. Remember last episode we were talking about how my Warriors need to step up, Meg. So you just, you know, on Ted's episode,
I
and
did
then
hear that,
yeah, and sure enough, that same night he dropped 62.
That was
Must
crazy.
have listened to the podcast.
Yeah. So Curry, bro, big props to you. Thank you for stepping your shit up. Let me see. I got a splash for him. Splash for the splash, brother, man.
He was killing.
Yeah, he was.
And
vintage.
I think even against the Clippers, he had 40 something. Or
I think 38. They had they made a comeback. They were down by like 20.
So, I mean, again, it's too early to say MVPs or any shit like that, but I'm just saying I do like that Steph Curry is putting the team on his back.
In order for the Warriors to really be competitive and make the playoffs, he gonna have to be MVP Curry.
Yes,
that's just how it is. Because I mean,
because he has no Clay.
Yeah,
and it's in Wiggins and.
But he's that good though.
Yeah.
He's that good to carry them.
Finally got Draymond back.
Yeah, and Draymond's a good player. I mean, too many people look at his stats and they like, oh, he don't do. It's like we all know there's more than stats.
Oh yeah, I was that kind of player. My stats were never like great, but it's like you do a lot of other stuff, and that's Draymond. He does a lot
makes
of the
plays. He just
stuff,
again, but I think if you know the game, you know that.
Yeah.
You know, your Lakers are number 1, right?
We're 7-3 right now.
I think they're number 1. So you know congratulations.
In the beginning of the season, no,
he's about to throw up.
I'm just saying the beginning is for everybody. You know, the NBA season don't start until after All-Star break. So you know LeBron. A lot of players, you know, even with the Kyrie thing, everybody's like in and out of the rotation right now, especially with the COVID stuff. So I'm not really tripping right now. I'm worried about when we get to the finals, you know, because we are going to get back to back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. So yeah.
Oh well, Meg, who's your team? We didn't ask you that.
You know, I don't.
Do you have one,
I like watching players, but you know the Kings. I'm from here.
Okay, fair enough.
You're like my wife.
No,
You're
but
like my wife.
but speaking of the Kings, didn't that one rookie? He had a hell of a game against Chicago the other day. I don't remember his name. Ty, you could look up his name. I don't remember his name.
The one from Iowa. The rookie for the Kings, right?
For the Kings.
I know you're talking about the dude from Iowa State.
Yeah,
my brother-in-law was talking about him this morning. He's killing it.
The Kings got some good young. Did you see the thing about Bagley's dad? Put the tweet.
Yes.
They got some good young talent, but
what's his name?
It's the Kings. Oh, Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah.
He's nice.
He is.
Yeah, the Kings, they have nice young De'Aaron Fox, Bagley, him, Halliburton, but It's the Kings. I mean,
I
who gonna come out here? You know
We'll come
what?
up one of these days.
All right.
What big free agent gonna come out here? I don't know.
I respect the loyalty because people don't understand.
You
I was a
it's
Warriors
hard.
fan when we were
yeah.
terrible. You know what I'm
for
saying?
a long time.
Yes, for a very long time.
I don't know
We'll
nothing
get
about
back
that.
there.
I've only seen rings. You feel
Oh,
me? So
here
I
we
don't know.
go.
I've been to a couple parades myself. So I don't know about that life. I
See
don't
these
know.
Lakers, man. See,
I don't
okay,
know.
you're
I
right.
don't know.
Fair enough.
Could have had a ring.
Right. That's true. But
Because
that
of you
there was
guys,
this
so,
interesting game in
Interesting.
Sacramento. Just throwing that out there.
fine.
But no.
Shit happens. Shit happens. Shit happens.
Speaking of rookies and young guys, obviously we got to talk about LaMelo Ball.
Oh yeah.
And
Kill him.
his rookie year. I mean, do we think rookie of the year the way he's playing?
What? Yeah. Yeah.
Right
I don't know.
now.
Wiseman is killing it too, though. I like
is,
Wiseman.
he
That's
is.
on my Warriors team.
sure.
That's my big on Warriors. But
Okay.
no, he youngest player to
Get
record a triple double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
congratulations to him. And then he obviously goes. The one thing I would say, no, when I watched the game with him and Lonzo, the
Yeah.
Pelican and all that. The biggest thing I would say is, Lonzo's very much or maybe even too much, letting the game come to him.
Too passive.
Right? And his brother is like, fuck that, I'm going after it.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
kind of their personalities. too.
Exactly.
If you look at them, they just,
Yeah.
Lonzo's kind of laid back, like
Yeah.
whatever. And
Yeah.
yeah, Melo is not like that.
No, but you know, congratulations to you, Melo, if you ever hear this shit. But you know, congratulations to getting that triple double. I mean, that's an accomplishment, no
Yeah,
doubt
that's
about
huge.
that.
Well, his
Yeah.
dad said he gonna be the best one out of all three. So it's looking like that right now.
Definitely looking like that.
And then, you know, speaking on how COVID is affecting basketball and even the NBA, you got players sitting out now. Bradley Beal, right? He's sitting out because Westbrook with COVID protocols. You have
Tatum, Celtics.
yeah, and then obviously the main guy I want to talk about because I feel like he's getting weirder and weirder. Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, he's
And again, I'm not even mad at him about the sage and all this. I mean, Phil Jackson used to do stuff like that, but it's just now he's borderline getting to just that weird guy shit. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, he's just deep. It's like, no, there's something wrong with this dude.
Have you heard him? He calls himself and KD 7-Eleven in every interview.
No, I didn't.
You ever heard that?
No.
In every
Really?
interview,
Oh.
you know, me 7-Eleven, we've been killing it. You know, we just got to keep doing it. He doesn't say Kevin Durant. He
Who the- what-
7-Eleven because he
But where
wears
does that-
he wears
'cause-
11.
yeah.
KD wears 7. So he's been trying to, like, I don't know, he's trying to brand it or what.
yeah,
That's what I hope he's
Every
doing.
interview,
trying to make that happen, make it
yeah,
stick.
he's like, you know, 7-Eleven, we are the leaders of this team. You know, we're trying to do this. Like, he don't even say KD or nothing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny listening to all the other, you know, broadcasters. They're laughing about it. And I don't know. I feel like KD and Kyrie are in their own world.
Yeah.
They're really, really good. So I feel like they don't care what anybody thinks.
Clearly.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, for us, like, especially in this social media era, like, they're so easy to get picked on and so many memes.
Well,
right
KD
now.
doesn't care about buying a brush, so that's part of his problem.
Yeah,
he,
man.
swear, he don't even want to wear a wave cap. I was like, bro, if
Yeah.
you're gonna do that, just
You gotta.
just do something with it.
You're on TV. Be better.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. The Knicks are relevant, so I want to give a shout out to them. They're I'll throw a splash out for the Knicks because they're actually
5-2 or 6-2 or something like that.
And they haven't been relevant like that in a long time. So, and I'm not like a Knicks fan like that, but the reason I wanted to bring it up is because they have Tibbs,
Coaching,
you know, Coach
coaching.
Tibbs, and I'm a firm believer if you establish a culture.
Yeah.
That's what draws players. New York's a huge market, so it's going to draw players regardless. But I'm saying once you establish a culture, at least a player knows what they're stepping into. I think that's the biggest problem with some, like with what has been with the Knicks, is they didn't have an established culture, right? They just had a market, and the coaches, I can't even think who the previous coaches were like that.
A lot. They've had a lot of coaches.
Yeah, so, but they didn't establish like this is who we are.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And now that they're doing that, they're definitely on an upward trajectory. If they can, because Tibbs is known for giving hard. I mean, he treats you. He treats NBA players essentially like they're college players. He don't give no fucks. He's like, you know, this is it's very few coaches that can establish two things in the NBA. One, getting backed up by the front office. And what I mean by that is like Greg Popovich. The back office will back him up before they back a player up, right? That's usually the reverse, right? So that's big in his part. And then the second thing is the front office allowing a coach to really like establish a culture that, because again, you know, there's been players that have been pissed at Tibbs, or back in his history in Chicago, they're like, he works us too hard, or all that, you know, they complain to the NBA commission, you know what I'm saying? But he set that tone, and I really like that. Who's coaching Phoenix right now? Isn't it
Monty Williams?
Yeah,
they love him.
Yeah, him too. Like establishing a culture is a big deal.
Yeah,
and being able to do that in the NBA.
Yeah,
you know, because it's
that's
fucking hard.
Yeah. College, you can kind of
of course
choose who you want. NBA, not as much.
Well, one thing that I've kind of like noticed, you know, with Tibbs is, like you said, like, one of the things too why he, you know, remember he was in Chicago, he did get fired, went to Minnesota, and got fired. You know, he does. There's results, but a lot of it he still has that old school mindset. The thing that I've seen different this year with the Knicks is he's kind of been adapting to the times, because players are different today. You know, so with all the money that they get paid, you can't talk to them a certain type of way like it was maybe in the 90s, and I think that's what kind of got him a lot of trouble before. But what I'm noticing, you know, because I've watched a couple games and stuff like that, is like Julius Randle. Julius Randle's averaging close to a triple-double. That he has him playing the point forward, bringing the ball up, facilitating, you know, and for a coach like that to kind of go that route with somebody like that, the players want to play for him. You know, like they want to do this, and he already brings the defensive side of it, but the Knicks are just, to me, it all starts in the front office. Like, they just got, like, I think a new GM, but Dolan has to go. Because regardless of this early start, they're not, I don't know, I doubt that they're going to make a deep run in the playoffs. It's still early.
It's the East, who knows?
Yeah, but I just think that I don't think any top players are ever going to come to New York, to be honest. So we'll see.
But at least it's a good start.
They're going in the right direction.
Yeah. I've seen the Kings start 7-2, but, you know, it's still, I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Let's get into that.
I mean, you know.
They have a great young
this
court.
Is it. And then,
right.
You know,
I just watched basketball in June. That's, you know,
right.
And to be fair, you're absolutely right.
True.
So, but the West is tough. So it is, you know, it is what it is. But the East has gotten better. So, but the other thing I want to talk about, just briefly, because we are still mainly an AAU podcast. My facility might open this week, so yay! I'm happy about that shit. You know, if Department of Justice, I guess, gives us that green light, then you know maybe we'll open up. For some reason, Ken G, the founder, for most of you guys know, thinks we're so important that we're being stalked every day by them. We're not that important, Ken. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're not looking at us like that. But you know, that's just my 2 cents there. What I wanted to really delve into and talk about was, because again, for those who listen and those who know me and know this show, who's been listening consistently and things like that, we really try to briefly talk about political things and things like that, but I feel obviously this is pretty fucking relevant. We all know about the Capitol riot, the coup, the uprising, the whatever the fuck. I just call it a criminal terrorist act. That's just me personally. Just fucking terrorism in a bold-face error. Obviously, us being in California, and that's what I have to acknowledge too, because you guys have traveled, you've seen, you know, even in our own country and things like that. We are very different as a state compared to the rest of the country.
Oh yeah,
we just are. You know what I mean? Even in comparison to the rest of the world, you know. But for sure, just in the U.S. and seeing all this division, all these basically closet racists who now who feel emboldened to come out, right? You know what I mean? And I'm obviously, even for you, Meg, you're a Caucasian woman, so I'm sure you've been in situations, but that's what I think is interesting too, because you play in a predominantly African American sport, black sport. I'm sure I know for a fact you got plenty of black friends, guys and girls and everything in between, and you know, all this crazy shit's going on. I mean, I don't know what it's going to take for things to be okay. I don't know how we're going to get this shit right. I just think the start is we got to get that fucking orange Cheeto out of the White House. And that's just my opinion,
wait.
you know? Yeah, exactly. You guys got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, what do you do? I mean, and I tell like people in my circle, I'm like, you got to start with around you. It's not like we can't change the world and like in one day, you know, and obviously like it's going to take a lot, but you know, just trying to educate. And we've talked a lot with our team and had a lot of conversations, tough conversations, because we have girls from all kinds of different backgrounds, and really like it's really just understanding each other. You don't have to agree on everything. You don't have to like love what one person does, but you know, you got to understand their perspective, and I think that's the biggest thing. But you know, like our president does not feel that way. It's one way, and he's very just dividing the whole nation, and it's really showing, especially in this last week. It's definitely become a lot more in your face.
Yes, very
it
much.
wasn't before.
What about you, Mark? Anything? Any thoughts?
I'm happy that Twitter finally banned him.
Yeah,
you know, because to me that's what, like I said, in the era that we live in, that's his weapon that he's been using to find all of these racists who don't give a fuck, like, you know what I'm saying, or driving all the way from down south all the way to the Capitol, you know what I'm saying, like, because of what he has created these last 4 years off social media, the fear, you know what I'm saying, the rallies, everything like that, you know, and it's crazy, like, just reading, I mean, it's scary, to be real with you, you know what I'm saying, just seeing it, watching it. I live in Dixon, so, you know, I'm from San Diego. You know what I'm saying? So since I've been living in Dixon, you know, and even the street that I live on is still crazy. But it's funny because my wife, so let me just tell a quick story. This is how scary and bad, especially now that, you know, I have kids, you know. But I'm with my wife, you know what I'm saying? Black Lives Matter, everything. But I live in Dixon, you know what I'm saying? And even on the street that we live in, you know, I'm driving by, you know, a couple of Trump flags and bikers that be driving up and down our street, you know what I'm saying? But my wife, I remember, you know, it was I forgot what happened, but she got one of those things, you know, that you put on your car where you can write stuff. You know what I'm saying? I remember I came back home, I see the BLM on the side, you know, I see a black heart on the other side, and then fuck Trump, like on the thing. And I was like, what the? I'm just thinking about where we live. Yeah. Even though, yes, I understand. Like, I'm with you. I remember I was like, you got to take that shit off. And you don't know, they might do something. They might throw something through the window. Yeah. You know, we got that biker neighbors down the street. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then after the Capitol Hill thing, which really just made me, I'm sure everybody feel a certain type of way. Yeah. Pissed, everything like that. Then she got this sign, Black Lives Matter. She put it on the yard. I was like, you know what? Let's leave it there. You know what I'm saying? I was like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, I just feel like, even though shit is getting crazy, I feel like this is the kind of, I feel like in anything in life, in order to become successful and see success, you have to like go through the trenches first. And I feel like right now with all this crazy shit that's happening, I think this is a sign, because to me, it's all these people are coming out because they know that things are changing. You know what I'm saying? They're getting scared. You know what I'm saying? And
the country's at a tipping point.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Trump he can't do shit. Like, he sees that he's losing the power. So for us to be in this position where, okay, things are getting crazy, but we know, I still believe that 2021 is going to be a good year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still believe that, because it's going to start when he gets out of here. But then at the same time, like, I'm kind of nervous. Like, you see all this stuff, you know, the Proud Boys talking about, oh, when Biden puts his hand on the Bible and they induct him and all that, like, we about to tear shit up and da-da-da. Like, we didn't see no National Guard for Capitol. Right. We didn't see nothing. So you telling me that, are they going to have real security, you know, when that day comes where it's official? No more Trump and all the stuff that I've been saying. Like, this is crazy. Like, it's really crazy.
It's not over yet.
And I think we're kind of removed because, again, we're in California, right? And this state is typically pretty liberal, and even just keeping shit real, because this is About That Life podcast. I'm gonna keep shit real with y'all. In my area where my gym is at here in Rockland, there's plenty of pockets out here of Trump supporters and motherfuckers who probably don't want to deal with me or talk to me, or, you know, because this is the reality of the life I live. I'm a black business owner in Rockland. I'm probably 0.00001% of black business owners in Rockland. Like, you know what I mean? I am, and I'm mixed. So, you know, I am that small ass percentage, and it's like, I see it, you know, and I don't give a shit because my mom was ex-Black Panther. Grew up in Oakland. My mom was ex-Black Panther. That's the heritage I come from.
Nice.
You know, my grandmother walked with Rosa Parks. You know what I mean? So that's where this attitude of I don't give a fuck comes from. It was instilled in me by my grandmother and mother because those who raised me. Me seeing this, it's kind of a necessary evil. I hate to say it. It's like I said, the country's at a tipping point, and we have a lot of people who have made their lines understand. The best part of what I'm seeing is, which is a combination of things, is we have white allies, right? Like we joked about when Jay was on the podcast, right? But that's a real thing. Like, you know, like I fucks with you, Meg. You know that. Like we cool as that. And I feel like same here. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't got shit to do with race. Like we just cool like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying for the kids I coach, I see that. You know, when my 8th graders walked in, you saw that.
Right.
One, Eli is fucking Polynesian, you know, Dom is white and Mom is white, and they all, you know, mess with it. They are an example of me of where we're going to be eventually.
Absolutely.
But we have to go through the shit right now to get them there. Now, you know, this whole conversation of there's going to be a civil war, but it's like, okay, well, first off, I really don't think that's going to happen. I don't think our country is going to devolve into a full-on civil war. You have to think back when that was happening, slavery was still a thing. Okay, so there's that. Different we're not world. Exactly. And what a lot of people still. And again, like you said, that's the fear that they feel. What they're realizing is they're more the minority now. That's where this fear is coming from. They're realizing there are less and less and less of us racist fucks out there. There's just less and less of us. There's more biracial children. There's more people that prefer interacting with each other just on a human level. The race thing don't matter. Of course, you still got your assholes out there, but they're realizing there's less and less of them.
Losing power.
It's
2020. I mean, 2021.
Yeah.
2021.
So, you know, again, it's just, obviously, I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because overall we try to make this a good, positive show, but I feel like you can't ignore it.
No. I have all my nieces and nephews. They're mixed. So it's like, I mean, I feel like I have to, you know, do something, you know, talk about it. And like, they're going to be growing up in this world that it's going to go like one of two ways. Like, and not everybody, obviously, you're going to go, certain parts of the country are never going to change. But, you know, that's what I love about California and out here. It's very accepting. And you don't really have to worry about that. Whereas you go somewhere else and you were looked at sideways because of that.
Absolutely.
So, you know.
Well, then going on to respectfully disrespectful, let's get back to AAU. So, you know, I wanted to get back to that AAU basketball in general, kind of my outlook, and wanted to talk about your outlook here, Meg, since you're here. You know, there's pockets of AAU going on right now. In Yuba, there's other gyms doing their thing, obviously. I say let the kids play. You know what I mean? The kids should be able to play. Obviously, parents have to decide within their families if they feel comfortable letting the kids go out or not. But it seems to be an overall consensus that most people are comfortable with it. However, I'm not, and I always have to repeat this, I'm not minimizing the risk. I'm not minimizing COVID. I'm not minimizing the deaths that have happened. I am not minimizing that. But it is very hard to tell people, pay your bills, you know, pay your child support, pay whatever, do what you got to do, but we're going to close everything down.
Yeah.
Like how can we possibly do that? Because the country, the federal government isn't pushing money out fast enough.
Yeah.
So the one few things that we as, you know, just athletes and parents and everything can hold on to is let these kids have some fun and play basketball, right? I'm sure when you're with the girls and everything, I mean, it just helps release some of that tension and gives you some sort of normalcy. So I was just curious, like, do you think they should let the kids out there and play and do, you know, just play basketball again, play sports?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if the kid is comfortable with it, like, obviously you can do as much as you can to keep everything, you know, like safe, you sanitize, whatever. But honestly, like, we've dealt the mental state of some of these kids, especially as you get higher, like college, high school, like they need this because that's how they're staying in school and staying out of trouble. They don't have this. They're just putting their energy into anything else they can find. And so I think for a lot of them, like, as long as you're safe, and like a lot of people have a lot of different opinions, but that age they're at very low risk, you know, like, and not saying that you shouldn't be careful, but I mean, let the kids play, like, let them enjoy their life, because everything else has changed. So I mean, as long as they're comfortable with it, their parents are comfortable with it, I would say
let them get out there, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Mark? Let them play?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know me. I've been busy. I've been busy with no high school sports. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the lab. So
going outside.
One thing that I've been noticing is there are the parents, which it's understandable. Like, everybody has their reasons. Everybody, you know, has their own beliefs. You know, where I've had kids that, you know, I had a couple parents, you know, ask me, all right, so what are your protocols? Do you sanitize? Do you wear masks? And I got some other parents, you know, they ain't tripping. You know, they just, you know, they just need work. So it's been interesting, like, navigating through all this. And like I said, like, I'm still, a lot of places in Solano County are closed. So, you know, like, I've been outside. So, but at the same time, I just noticed that the kids that I work with, you know what I'm saying, like, they tell me, you know, like, oh, like, you know, like, doing online schooling is like, it's weird, or the motivation, and, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm passing my classes, but it's like, I don't know. It's not, you know, like, a lot of kids are just cheating, or they're, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, it's crazy knowing that they've been going through this for almost a year, you know? And then, of course, to train or to go find a gym or practice or anything is just like a change. You know, it's like, okay, like, we working, you know, if anything, I feel like the sessions have been more intense, to be honest. So that's kind of my perspective, how I've been seeing things.
Well, I definitely think this is getting a bit excessive. I mean, we've been shut down. I know, at least I could say for my gym, been shut down since December, January. We're now going, you know, through January, probably going into February. I hope it changes. I mean, you know, Ted talked about it yesterday. Even with high school, you got to be in a certain color, you got to be in a certain tier, and
pods.
You know what I mean. And again,
we're even doing that a little bit.
And it's tough, man. It's just it's tough, and you know, I just can't reiterate it enough. Like, kids, hang in there, because I do know some of the kids listen to the show, and, you know, hang in there, fellas.
Keep
working,
girls. Keep working.
Exactly. Just do what you can. You know, we know it's. I feel bad for them. I don't know if I was their age, how the fuck I could handle this. I'm hanging on just because I got to. We grown. We got other shit to worry about. But I'm like, man, if I'm 15-year-old, 16-year-old me.
Trying to figure themselves out, right?
Yeah, this
without
shit's
all
tough.
this. It's tough without all this.
So, you know, I just wanted to touch on that. I wanted to also, well, having you here, we have a unique perspective too. I wanted to talk about your the women's basketball overseas, and, you know, in other countries and stuff, and women's basketball here. Do you acknowledge or see a difference in the treatment, or just the overall atmosphere for it, or is it all, you know, pretty much the same from your perspective?
I think it depends on the level you're at and, like, where you're playing. Like I was saying, Australia, we practice like 2-3 times a week. Right. Going from college to Europe, that is not the case. But I mean, Australia has great basketball players too.
Nice.
If you see that. So, it's different. I would say the intensity here for me personally was more in college.
Okay.
But Europe, depending on the team I was on, some of them were super intense. You're going twice a day, and I mean, it's a job. It is more of a business over there.
Okay.
I know that happens in some colleges here. I was a little bit more like mid-major D1, but definitely over there, I think the biggest difference is, like, it's a business, and if you don't perform, then
you're out.
Bye.
So,
but yeah, the intensity for me personally was college. It was very intense, but I loved it.
Cool.
Yeah, I loved every minute of it.
Cool. And then, do you have any, like, I would say the coaching, like, for your coaching out there, like, you know, I know I wasn't. My coach wasn't really coaching me. I did really. He's just like, hey, just shoot some threes, and you better keep shooting them fucking threes. I mean, that basically was my level of coaching. You know, did you have any like coaches that really you gravitated with, or anything overseas that really like you felt helped you evolve your game?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I learned a lot from every one of them, whether it was good or bad.
Okay.
You know, I had a great coach in Australia, my first year in Australia. I thought like he really, he knew what he was doing. He helped me like let me play the way I wanted to play too, and the way I love to play. And, but yeah, I mean, Europe, I had some good coaches. I had one when I was in Prague. I had one. He was from, where was he from? Serbia.
Okay.
Wow.
And he didn't speak Czech or English.
Whoa.
And so we had 3 different languages going on, and that was interesting. I mean, I can say I didn't maybe learn a ton from him.
Yeah, right. Just score the basketball, damn it.
But I think over there you learn from experience
Yes.
a lot, and it's not, I mean, at that level, it's really like you're coming into play. And yeah, obviously, like you work and you get better. But I mean, for the most part, it was like I was just playing, and you know, so I would do a lot when I came home to really get my experience up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So then I'm curious of your thoughts, and because me and him always talk about this, and we'll probably talk about it even now, with AAU basketball. I mean, you've been to tournaments, you've been to hardwood courtside, you see the atmosphere of it. You know, the AAU atmosphere is fucking insane now. On the women's side and guys side, I don't care what side of it, just this whole bubble of AAU in basketball AAU in this country is insane. Now again, it's not bad to me. It's not bad. It's actually a great thing, but it does have bad sides to it, right? So I'm curious, you being a newer coach, you coming from the perspective of, you know, okay, I was playing pro and now I'm stepping in and seeing all this shit. Like, what are your thoughts on the AAU atmosphere?
It is way bigger than when I was in it, with the Chicago tournament, like all that kind of stuff. Like, it's crazy, and I think a lot of kids can get lost in the crowd too. Like, you may have a great player, but they have 10 other great players on the team. So it's like, how do you, and that goes back to how do you stand out? Like, how are you going to stand out? And I think some great teams have come out of it, some great programs, but I also think it's just like a everyman, like everybody plays.
It's mercenary renegade shit, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, which is good. Like, you want the kids to have a place to play, and I think that it has been a good part of it, but I also like, then everybody thinks they're going to the NBA, or, you know, like, so, you know, I don't know. I don't think it's like good or bad, but it has gotten to be a lot of a business too. Like, because you got coaches that don't necessarily know what they're doing but act like they do, and it's like you're not helping these kids, and making promises and not deliver. Like, don't promise a kid when they're in 8th grade that you're going to get a D1 scholarship when it's like you don't they haven't even had time to develop. So I mean, I think that side of it is something that has gone kind of downhill, but okay.
What about you, Mark? Still any thoughts of this AAU atmosphere we living in?
Well, I mean, like, just listening to you guys, I mean, one thing I wanted to ask you, so, like, if you have a kid, right, because to me, it's just looking like, you know, especially with high school basketball, kids aren't getting recruited, you know, like, you know, with MJ, you know, like, nobody was driving to Vacaville High School, you know what I'm saying, to go recruit a kid who's averaging 27 points per game. So, like what I'm trying to learn, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't do AAU, but, you know, still at the end of the day, like, I'm still trying to learn, like, how do I get a kid to be, like you said, noticed, you know, because a lot of what I preach to a lot of my kids is because I feel like you have to adapt. Like you said, like, you're going to have to stand out, right? So what is it? Like you said, there's a lot of kids who are really, really good, but that they'll play on the Oakland Soldiers where all the kids are really, really good. Who's going to get the Scotty? And like you said, is every man for themselves. So, like, in your opinion, if I have a kid, you know, and I know that he's not on the AAU team, right? But I know he's really, really talented, but I know the politics. I know you got to know people. Yeah. How do I navigate this kid to make sure that through the years of high school, as he develops and trains and, you know, he has potential, get him to the right people? Is it still the like, well, if they find you, they find you, you know, the whole Damian Lillard or Stephen Curry or CJ McCollum? Well, you know, if they find you, if you're so good, they'll find you. I feel like it's not really true to me. I feel like it's half and half. I feel like it's about timing, but like, is there a strategy? You know what I'm saying? Is there like, do I really got to know people to be like, yo, so-and-so at Compton Magic, I know somebody. Yeah. Like, is it like, how would you do it?
It's a combination of both. It really is at this juncture. So the I hate that saying personally, what you just said. Mm-hmm. If you're so good they'll find you, that's bullshit. Yeah. That's just bullshit nowadays. Not, and again, this is assuming we're talking like Division I professional level, like top tier Division I, you know, Duke, Kentucky, something like that. If you're good, they'll find you. Usually works for the NAI kids, the low, you know, the D3 kids, high academic kids. Like, yeah, if you're good and you have great grades, they'll find you. But if we're, you know what I'm saying? But if we're talking like mid to top tier D1, no, they're not going to find you because they get thousands of fucking emails all the time. They get thousands of videos sent to them all the time. They see thousands of Ballless Life videos and all that shit. The market is saturated with it. So no. It's not going to work. Of just be really good and they're going to find you. So that's just on that aspect right there. That needs to be completely amended or reworded or whatever. No, be good means that'll get you through the door.
Because I say that too because I have parents that I talk to parents where, and I'm learning that there's different type of parents. There's the parents who know the blueprint, who understand the politics, and you got the parents who will, it's okay, little Johnny, they'll find you. You can play it for hot shots to lead in Davis.
Good luck.
You know what I'm saying? And so what is it? Like
so the formula that at least I follow. So it really comes down to the club, the coach, and his network, his or her network. Okay. If I'm speaking about myself, okay, well, I have to identify how I am as a coach. Well, I think I'm a pretty good damn coach. Anybody who's coached against me or, you know what I mean, they've even identified that about me. Now, do I have a reputation as a hard coach or a crazy motherfucker? Absolutely. I don't deny it. I don't. But anybody... fucking Team Lillard knows because you steal all my players. Don't act like you don't. Oakland Soldiers, you know, and I don't give a fuck. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, Marshall. You my homie, Marshall Collins, 17U top tier Soldiers coach. Me and him talk. Yeah, you try to take my players too. Like, it's all good. Ryan at Team Touch, Adidas Circuit. You try to take my players too, bro. It's all good. I'm not mad at it, but you're not doing that because you think my team suck. Well, you're not going after my players because you think my team sucks. So that's the first thing. I identify myself as a coach, right? The second tier is the club. Does the club have a reputation, right? If your mom and dad elite, if your other town select, nobody knows you. There's no reputation. There's no history there, right? YBA has been around 17, 18 years. There's history there, right? Oakland Soldiers, they've been pumping out D1s. Now, granted, are they more of a mercenary renegade faction of AAU? Absolutely, but you can't deny the product. You know what I mean? West Coast Elite, they've been pushing out D1 play. I mean, again, there has to be history and culture there, right? Okay. And then a third, is network. Well, before ARC was shut down, I was a JC coach. So I learned how to manipulate my JC network in order to meet other coaches and, you know, rub elbows with them and talk to them. And now I can make those phone calls of, hey, I have a kid, check them out. And I have the history because I've sent them talented kids before. Now, to go back to where you're saying, where you're like, okay, I got this talented kid. I want to do the best for him, but how do I tell them? Where do I push them? Where do I go? Again, that really comes down to your network. It really comes down to the people you know and the people you can trust. It really does come down to the individual that is the handler, right? That's what we would call you. You're the head. Like you've sent me at least 3 or 4 players right now between Daryl, right?
Tariq,
AJ, and
I think, and then I got another one who just joined with Daryl's squad, Jaden Smith. A couple guys.
Right, exactly.
Got a couple GGT guys.
That's the network portion, right? And that falls on you because you're the handler. So since I'm talking to you as the handler, that falls on that portion of you, and you're obviously trusting me and assuming that I'm going to put them in the position to be looked at the college. Because again, I don't walk into this thinking all my kids are going to go on D1. Fuck no, I don't do that. I'm very realistic with my kids and parents. Even on that 16U team, which I love to death and they're super talented. I think I only have 2, maybe 3 potential D1 guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's, again, they're sophomores. They're sophomores in high school. There's a lot of question marks about if that happened. Now, if you ask me, do I think they'll all be collegiate players? Absolutely. But what level, that's totally different. You know what I'm saying? Some might be at East Bay. Some might be at Jessup. Some might be, going to Florida. I mean, I don't know. We just have to, time will tell, right? So the best way I can say to answer your question is it really does come down to you trusting your instincts, you trusting in someone else, because again, I believe, I'm a firm believer that if you want to go somewhere fast, you go alone. If you want to go somewhere far, you go together. You know what I mean? You have to have a strong network of people that you can trust that will help you get to that destination. You obviously trust me, and I trust in the people that I work with, which then gets these kids to where they potentially want to go. But on the flip side of it, are there people that lie and exploit, like what you were talking about, Meg, the people that lie and exploit and bullshit families, kids, and everything for either their own individual clout, for their money, because there is a lot of money being handled out here. It's just, I'm just going to be quite honest, like I always am on this show. And, a lot of vicarious living through, right? You see it with parents, which is weird as fuck, because again, if my son wants to play basketball, my daughter, I'm not living through him. Like, do your thing, bro. Like,
it's your life.
Right? But if you suck and you ask me, like, Dad, how'd I play? It was terrible. Like, I mean, that's what I'm gonna tell him. I mean, that's just. But I'm not living through you. You know what I'm saying? And then of course you have coaches. I know a lot of coaches that when the kids win, they take home the trophy. Like any trophy I win is, out there for display. Or I tell the kids, one of the kids, you want to take this? Like, you're MVP. You want, like, it's not my fucking trophy. Like, I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it is more of you have to figure it out. You have to grow and keep learning and figure out who's right, who's not, and learn from experience.
Build your network.
Yes, exactly. So when you have a kid like that, a talented kid that you're like, okay, man, I got this really, great athlete who I think has collegiate potential, but this high school shit ain't gonna get him seen. It's not gonna be enough. You have to make the strategic choices and then trust in that person that you've given them to. That's the easiest. Because again, when I have athletes who I think are above my club, because there are kids that we have in YBA who are, I'm like, you're too good for too good for this. We got to get you on a circuit or whatever. On the flip side of it, we're kind of, with COVID, it kind of evens the playing field now, because there ain't going to be no circuit. There ain't going to be no private Nike. Where the fuck you going to go? The most of the country shut down. You going to go to the same fucking places we are. Utah, Arizona. And maybe like you going to the same Nike. You going to the same motherfucking place I'm going. Like Under Armour, I'll see you there. Adidas, I'll be running against you too. Like that's so that kind of is now pretty cool, because even the playing field, right? Because that's what they could. But again, pre-COVID, right? If I have a player and I'm like, man, this kid's really, really good, I'll make a call to Marshall at the Oakland Soldiers and say, hey, I got a point guard. He's really fucking good. You need to take a look at him. I'll make a call to Ryan Silver from West Coast Elite, right? Because my interest is in the kid getting the most out of what he needs. For sure. Unfortunately, there are a lot of coaches that's not the case. That's the part where it's made it fucked up for people like me. There's a lot of coaches, they don't want that kid to leave because it's more about the brand than it is the child. And that's just, we're lucky enough, at least at YBA, it's not about, the brand is what it is. YBA ain't, we are what we are. We ain't going nowhere. Shit, we've been here, like I said, 17, 18 years. The brand is getting kids better at basketball. That's literally the brand. Getting them better at basketball, enjoying it, having fun, having great coaching, having a great atmosphere. Is every AAU club like that? Absolutely not. So, that hopefully that's the best elaborate answer I can give.
That was a great answer.
I'll say something too, actually. like the kid's got to figure out, like, does he want to play on like stay on the West Coast, or does he want to play on the East Coast?
Yeah, that's truly right.
If he wants to stay out here, then go into a team that just goes to all East Coast big tournaments. Like, he's gonna he'll get seen, and some West Coast coaches go, like, that happens, but find a team that is gonna go to the places that'll get you looked at with the teams that you want to. And if you are like, if you're great, you're on the Soldiers, but you're 10th on the bench, like, then are you gonna really get seen? No, probably not. Like, you're not gonna get as much playing time. You're not gonna get out there as much. So, like, finding a team that you can really, like, showcase your talent, not sit the bench and win games.
Yeah, absolutely right. And that's the thing, like, those programs that hold over you is like, oh, we're going to give you shoes, and we're going to give you backpacks, and we're going to give you hoodie. Like, well, fuck it, I'll give you some shoes and a hoodie. And last time I checked, your mom bought you some shoes. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of caveats they hold over a club like myself. So, you know, with COVID, it's kind of even the playing field now, because they can't manipulate anything. I think West Coast Elite, Ryan, he's gonna hold his own shit. I'm pretty sure Nike and all of them, they're gonna try to figure it out. But ultimately, we're all going to the same place. We just might be there different weekends. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Like, we'll just be there different weekends, or we'll all be there the same weekend, and it'll be like a million fucking people in Vegas or Utah or whatever, and they'll just have us all in these different locations and gyms. But ultimately, that's it. I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. So I think you gotta go with who you trust. And the kid has to decide absolutely where do they want to go, and be realistic with themselves. Like, what level do you really think? What I do. This is the tip I do for my teams, and you know, whoever's listening, maybe coaches, parents, you can do it with your kids. I tell my kids, we do 3 colleges that are dream colleges, right? That are above your reach. 3 colleges that you think are your level, right? And 3 colleges that you think are beneath you. And then we decipher from that. Okay, what's your location? Where is it at? Okay, most of these are West Coast schools. Okay, let's narrow it down from there. All right, I think I know a coach here. I think I know a guy. Okay, this might be a little out your reach, but you know what? This one might work. You know what I mean? Like, and then we go from there, you know. But just, you know, to have a random kid like, I'm going to Duke. What? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what?
It's always the dream. But,
like okay, like, do you know how many West Coast players go to Duke and sit their ass on the bench? Like, they don't fuck with us like that. Take your ass to Cal. Go to Cal State East Bay. Like, what are you doing? You know, it's like it's Sac State. Like, it's right there. Like, I don't know, man. It's weird like that.
Go
but
actually play somewhere.
Yes,
right on the bench for 4 years.
Absolutely.
I
want to do our shout outs real quick before we close out of here. I wanted to give a shout out to Coach Chance Peterson. He took the YBA girls over to Yuba and they played. So just definitely want to give him a shout out for, you know, I'm happy to see the girls playing a little bit. My teams haven't played. So seeing some YBA teams play, I'm just happy about that. Like, thank you for keeping them going. I wanted to do also a last shout out to your boss, Coach Hernando, right? I want to, you know, look forward to having you on the show, brother. He did tell me he saw the episode with Ted and he really liked it and stuff.
Yeah, he was watching it the other day.
Okay, cool. So I'm glad he enjoyed it. You know, I look forward to having him on the show. And, you know, other than that, I think that's it for me. You got anything, Mark, or any shout outs?
No, I'm good. Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. It's fun.
No problem. No, thank you, Meg, again for coming on the show. That's kind of a theme. I want to get out there for people. I want to have more women on the show because I want you guys to have a platform and a voice. So hopefully that'll be for 2021. I'll get a good more balance of women. Yes. But to be fair, some of them don't want to talk. They all scared. I'm like, what do you come over here and talk to me? Talk basketball.
You can find some.
Yes, thank you.
Tabitha Wampler.
Yes.
Calling you out.
Yeah, thank you. Because I did invite her. Especially because she's opening a gym.
Exactly.
That's got to talk about that.
Janae Young.
Yes, absolutely. So no, but again, thanks for coming on. For you guys who are watching watching on YouTube or listening on a podcast, again, really appreciate if you like, destroy, annihilate, incinerate. Come on, I'm trying to think. You gotta trying to think of a good pronoun, but hit that like button for us, please. Hit the follow, hit the subscribe. It does help. Even if you don't and you just watch the show and you enjoy it, I appreciate it. Like one of my on the last episode, one of the old refs that I know, he's the one who left a comment under the YouTube thing and was just like, hey man, I want to be on the show. So please hit us up. Links are be at the bottom they'll be on the itinerary for the show, but it'll also be on the links for the YouTube. Hit that like button, helps with the algorithm. We appreciate you. Mark, you got anything to add to this?
No, I'm good. See you guys next week.
All right, and we are out.